Hello everyone, and welcome to the June installment of EXTOL's monthly EDUCAST series. EXTOL International is a provider of end-to-end business integration software and services that easily allow enterprises to connect with their customers and trading partners. With EXTOL, businesses can quickly manage and extend integration across any application and environment by automating the exchange of data between EDI, XML, spreadsheets, flat files, and databases. Celebrating over 25 years with a 95% customer retention rate, EXTOL continues to deliver integration solutions to businesses across multiple industries, including manufacturing, distribution, transportation, and retail. I'm Mark Denchi, Director of EXTOL's Worldwide Partner Program, and today I'm pleased to introduce one of EXTOL's technology partners, Melissa Data, providers of a data quality management offering. By making web service calls, EXTOL users can leverage Melissa Data's data quality and data augmentation services in flight during transformations and processes to improve the quality of data inserted into back-end systems. Together, EXTOL and Melissa Data provide a powerful integration solution to accommodate any format of data and ensure that the data content is accurate and enriched to provide added business value. With me is Patrick Bain, a data quality analyst and software engineer at Melissa Data. Patrick works closely with clients to analyze their data quality issues and provide solutions that fit their business needs. As an expert in his field, he frequently authors articles focusing on maintaining data quality and integrity. Patrick, thank you for joining us today. And I ask the attendees, if you have any questions, please type your questions in the questions panel. I will collect these for the Q&A at the end of the session. Patrick, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. And thank you everyone for coming out this morning. My name is Patrick Bain and I'm a senior software engineer and analyst here for Melissa Data. And I'm excited to be with all of you and share exactly why we need data quality and just how easy it is to do with our partnership with EXTOL. This partnership ultimately benefits you, our customers, more than anyone else. With this partnership, you can overcome any data quality challenges that you have by seamlessly using our Melissa Data services as EXTOL is transforming and loading your data into your systems. So I want to go into who we are before we begin why we need data quality. So who we are. We're a company founded in 1985 and have become leaders in the field of contact data, solving many data quality issues. We have found that there is a large market for when it comes to data quality and fixing issues. Much of our business is based on data quality. And we have over 130 employees consisting of programmers, data analysts, web developers, marketing, and sales support. And also, we are making a global expansion as of late with offices in Germany, the UK, and India. So our clientele has a very broad range because everyone stores contact data, if you really think about it. And there are very few businesses that do not have some type of contact data. So our clients range from small mom-and-pop mail shops to large multinational corporations in every segment of industry. Government agencies and municipalities, universities, insurance agents, and real estate and retail companies. So as long as you have contact information, we have a solution to fit your needs and help to get the most out of your data. So I want to get into how much does bad data cost, and eventually we're going to move into how do we fix this. There was a study done by TDWI, and it estimated that there's a $611 billion estimated cost to US businesses annually because of bad data. I think it's interesting in this study that they also said that the cost of poor data may be 10 to 25% of total revenues, as well as 40% of the companies had suffered losses due to poor data quality. And they also noted that one company is generating $130,000 annually in cost savings from a data quality initiative that they set. So in reality, poor data costs money and reduces productivity because the time fixing a big amount of data is expensive and reduces productivity. We get wrong business decisions because the strategic decisions in the companies are taken based on a big amount of data stored in data warehouses and databases. That is wrong. There's a poor client satisfaction level because providing clients and third-party organizations with incorrect or inconsistent data results in decreased partner trust and market share losses. And lastly, expensive and slowly implementation process. So solutions built using poor data are unreliable, unstable, and subject of constant maintaining. So this will affect the entire cost and delivery time of a project. Why is this? It's because data is always in flux. The USPS estimates that over the course of a year, 40 million Americans and businesses move annually. That's almost 1 in 6 people. And each year, the quality of stored addresses declines by 17%. That's by USPS estimate. And this is only for addresses. When we get into phones and emails, we are also introducing other areas where data quality issues can come into play. So people are always changing and disconnecting phone numbers, area codes split, email domains can and do change, and there are many studies estimating the decay rate of contact databases. In one study covering B2B data, they estimate a 4 to 6% a month decay of the data, which if you equate that up to a year, that's almost 1/3 of the file annually. So on the screen we see a USPS PricewaterhouseCoopers study. And in this study, they found that 23.6% of letters or things people mailed was required correction from the USPS. And additionally, a 2.7% of the mail was completely undeliverable. They couldn't figure out where or how to get to the person that the company addressed it to. And so in reality, this costs a minimum of 21 cents for an address collection and as much as $2 for bulk mail for the USPS. And USPS and FedEx charge as much as $6 per correction. And this might not seem like much for one mail piece, but over the course of many mail pieces, of course, this adds up and eats into our overall profit. So here at Melissa Data, we receive, of course, a lot of data from various sources, including the US Census Bureau. And using some of those figures from the Census Bureau of 2.3 million marriages each year, 1.2 million divorces, 4.3 million births and deaths, and 47 million moves a year, we have came up with a HalfLife formula for contact databases. So we're taking all of these factors into consideration, and based on this formula, we have estimated that on average, after 3.5 years, half of the customer contact data is incorrect. So this study, along with others I have mentioned, state the inevitable fact that the quality of our data over time will deteriorate. Let's go into the top 7 data quality challenges next, and then we'll get into the Melissa Data solution. So the first challenge we see on the screen is normalization. So our names coming in, such as Joe Vertito or Vertito Joe, do addresses for the same individual come in as street or road, or do they have some other unique designators that, such as apartment or suite? How are phone numbers being formatted? The next challenge is data accuracy and validity. Can I answer in the affirmative that my addresses are deliverable? Are my phone numbers callable? And are my email addresses sendable? These are very valid and legitimate questions. And how are we to tell? The third point is data standardization. Are my abbreviations constant and consistent? So we have North versus N, corporation versus corp. Is my casing uniform? Do I have all uppercase data or do I have camel case data? And lastly on this page is inconsistencies. Without any form of data control, or if we let data come in as is, we're going to have problems. There's just human error and typos that come into play. And especially for a lot of our customers listening today, we're going to have truncation and formatting issues when we're migrating data, maybe from a legacy system to a new system. This is where a lot of that truncation and formatting issues come into play. Next, we have matching. So is Joe and Joseph Vertito the same person? Is Main Street spelled out, or is Main Street have the USPS standard abbreviation? We don't want to store more than one contact record in our database, because what ultimately happens? If we have, say, a mailing We don't want the letter going out twice to the same person. It's just not cost effective, and it doesn't look professional. And then we have timeliness. We've discussed this before, but data is always in flux. Data is always changing. People get or change their phone numbers, they move, email address change, or they get married. So the data is always changing. And last but not least, we have identity. So is this person actually associated with this address? Does this phone number match the residence? What we have found when measuring the quality of contact is to step back and take a look at the contact record as a whole. So we want to give you the assurance that a particular individual has that address is matched to that phone number and that email. And this is a very powerful thing with our Personator product. We can actually do that with our Personator product. So without further ado, I want to talk about the answer to all of these data quality challenges. And that is, of course, our Personator product. So this is our flagship web service that does not only do standardization and correction of every piece of information against industry standards, but it can also verify that each piece of contact record information corresponds to others, so that the name corresponds to the address, the phone corresponds to the name. And then using that same reference data to verify, we can actually fill in the gaps. So if you have data from various different sources and some come in without phone numbers, maybe some come in without emails, maybe others don't have names, we can actually append names, emails, phone numbers, and even company names to that data. And last but not least, we have Move Update. Using a proprietary process of various data sources, we can move your contact to the most current location to give you the most current address, name, phone number, and email. So I want to get into what each piece specifically does, and we're going to begin with the Personator check, specifically the address portion. So this Personator check uses the USPS standard and industry standards to correct and perfect an address. This uses the USPS data in the background to take a look at just that address piece and to be able to append delivery points, to missing postcodes, maybe there's suite or apartment information missing, and we can also flag it as vacant or not receiving delivery. So using USPS data, we can hone in on that address piece of your contact record. Moving on, I want to talk about the geocoding aspect. So with our geocoding, we license data from both TomTom and Navtech to provide rooftop coordinates for over 95% of the households in the United States. Now, what's this mean to you? It means you're going to get accurate geocoordinates for most of your addresses, and this multi-source data actually increases the accuracy and coverage while adding the ability to append accurate census tracts, blocks, county names, and FIPS. And this is, of course, useful when you're trying to run your marketing initiatives and other business intelligence in your organization. So moving on to Personator check, name verification. If we want to get a complete, accurate view of our data and to be able to dupe it accurately, we want the names to be standardized and ordered correctly. So this leverages census data for all of the names in the United States. With this, we can not only cleanse, correct, and properly standardize names, but we can also parse dual names and genderize names. So this will assure you that you have a common name standardization across all of your data sets. It will pull out invalid characters, it can reorder, and put the clean name into your data set. So this is a really necessary feature. We also have this phone verification and correction. And so we realize that phone numbers come in various different formats. Maybe you get data from different organizations or different places, and they don't have a common format. This piece not only allows us to correct and standardize these formats, but it also allows us to flag them as voice over IP or landline or residential or business numbers. And this comes from multi-sourced data sets, including telco, 411, and cell company providers. So that gives you the power with this, again, this multi-source data that we so like to use. And next, we have email verification. So we follow an RFC standard for email verification. So with those rules in play, we can correct and perfect an email address. And we can take out invalid characters out of the mailbox name, and we can also validate the email domains through backend databases and even MX lookups. So we will be able to cleanse it, the domains, and tell you that the email address looks correct. Now, what we cannot do just quite yet is validate the full mailbox. So john@gmail.com, we cannot tell you that John exists currently, but very shortly coming down the pipeline, we will be able to put that piece into play and to be able to tell you that the full mailbox is valid and is deliverable. So that's exciting, that's coming down the pipeline. And so next I want to get into the Personator Verify feature. So CrossMatch Verification. And this is where the power comes into play. All the check features before used different data sets, and it looked at each contact record, each piece of the contact record. So name only, phone only, email only, and address only. This is where it gets exciting in that using a multi-sourced reference databases, we can actually verify that a name corresponds to an address, or a phone corresponds to an address, or a phone and name correspond. So this can go, with this, we can also do an above and beyond address correction than we normally otherwise would with address check in the advanced address correction feature, or AAC. So in our example here on the screen, we have James Douglas at Avenida Impresa and a zip code. Now, some of you savvy developers and DBAs out there might be able to use regular expressions to cleanse an address. But there is no way possible without reference data to put the premises number on an address. You have to have the reference data. And that same goes for suites and that kind of information. You have to have reference data to be able to correct that. And that's where the power lies in this. Next, I want to talk about the Personator Append. So this kind of plays off of the Verify feature in that we can append the information we have over what you have. With various different options, we can either append over what you have or only append if it's blank. But this allows you to fill in those data gaps. So if your data sets come in and there's holes, we will be able to give you a clear, accurate picture by appending all the names and phone numbers and anything that we can based on our data set. So this really pushes the data quality to the next level. And last but not least, I want to talk about the Personator Move. We can move an address, as I mentioned before. So we don't actually depend on the USPS NCOA, or National Change of Address database, and we rely on a compiled data from various multiple sources up to 10 years back moving forward. So in 5 years, we'll have 15 years of move update history. And I know I'm going to get a lot of questions. Where does this data come from? And really, it's proprietary. It's compiled from many different sources and merged through proprietary technology. So it's really powerful in the fact that we get it from various different sources and industries to move and append this data. Personator service also allows us to freeform parse, or parse information that's not delimited. As you see in our example here, we had Patrick Bain at Avenida Impresa, and it comes in a single line. Now, it happened to be in a decent order, but even if it's out of order, even if the phone number appears before the zip code or even before the address, using our domain-specific knowledge, we can parse that information out and put it into separate discrete fields. And then, using the Verify and Append feature, append anything that we want. So say we're missing a phone number, we can append the phone number. Or say we're missing geocoordinates, we can run it through that process and append. So this is a really powerful tool for a lot of our customers that are in legacy systems. A lot of time that data comes in undelimited single line formats, and this makes it super easy for us to get it into discrete, separate fields and to have that clear, accurate picture of the data. Coming soon, I thought I'd mention this because this is really exciting. The Personator service, we're going to be able to append not only phone and name and email, but we are coming down the pipeline going to be able to append date of birth, dwelling type, income, marital status, length of residence, presence of children, occupation, and even if they're a homeowner or renter. That's coming very shortly down the pipeline. But this information can make your data that you house even more useful to even more areas of your company. Maybe marketing would like to get a look at this, or it really makes your data valuable. And so wrapping it up, we have Personator benefits, and we have certified accuracy. We have clean, valid, up-to-date data. And we can give you confidence in your data in that your name and address match and are verified. Using Personator will introduce a cost savings to your business through postal discounts, reduced undeliverable shipments, fraud prevention, and even marketing initiatives. So using Personator, you can gain necessary campaign intelligence. So you'll get accurate, up-to-date location information. And coming soon with the demographics features, you can target that specific audience that you want to target using these data appends such as income and if they're a renter or profession. And then completed. We will complete the missing data elements in your processes where we're getting data from a whole bunch of different sources, and that data, running it through our service, will complete and fill in those gaps. And our data comes back as compliant. So we meet or exceed industry recognized quality standards. Whether it's from the USPS or ISO standards, our data is housed in that format, and we return it to you in quality format. So that's a quick overview of why we need data quality and how we can introduce data quality into our systems. And this is a real exciting partnership with EXTOL, and we're happy to be partners and offer EXTOL customers the data quality in their systems.
Patrick, thank you very much. I'd like to review a few questions that actually were submitted. And the first question is, I am from outside the U.S. What kind of global data services can I get from Melissa Data?
Okay, so that's a very good question. We actually we have a global web service that can cleanse, standardize, and correct up to a little bit over 240 countries internationally. Now this, we can also append geocoordinates. What we cannot do, we do not have the data in the background to append email addresses or phone numbers, but we can correct, standardize, and append geocoordinates to many addresses internationally.
Okay. Now this one actually is somewhat related. Can you talk a little bit about geodata, IP locations, and global address validation?
Geodata, IP address locations, and what was the last one?
Global address validation.
Okay. So we do have services to cleanse IP addresses and actually append geocoordinates to them, to the wire center. And we can also append country information and whatnot. For geodata, we use, of course, TomTom and Navtech, like I mentioned before, to be able to append geocoordinates to international addresses. Now, sometimes it depends on the international address whether or not it's going to be rooftop. For the US and Canada, we can offer rooftop. For some of our international addresses, we do have that resolution down to the rooftop. And sometimes we don't. It just depends. It comes as a country per country basis. And if anyone is interested in particular countries, they can always come to Melissa Data or come to EXTOL, and we will be happy to answer to what resolution we can actually cleanse that address.
Okay. I just have two others here that I think are interesting. Does Melissa Data have on-premises as well as cloud-based data quality services?
Okay, that's a very good question. So we do offer on-premise solutions. Now, because of Personator and the service and the various large databases behind the scenes, it does not make that service feasible to house that on-premise for our customers. But we do offer basically the check functionality on-premise to our customers. So we have the USPS data sets, we have other data sets that can take a look at each piece in just a single manner, not as the record whole. So that is powerful for those customers that want something local and want something very quick, and maybe they have HIPAA considerations or other privacy considerations that come into play. So that is valuable to those customers.
Okay, Patrick, we have 1 minute left, but I'm going to hit you with one more. How does Melissa Data help me maintain the integrity of my data?
That's a good question. As I've shown through studies and whatnot, the data changes constantly, and a regular process through our data quality solutions will give you the most accurate, up-to-date data. So upon integrating, you'll want to cleanse your data, and then every so often you should run it through a data quality process just to check and monitor whether your data is valid and accurate. And using that ongoing process, you'll be able to know that, yes, my data is valid and it's accurate, and I can use it for an effective campaign.
Okay, and Patrick, I'm going to catch you on one last 15-second question that just came in. In what format does the data need to be supplied to be able to do these functions?
So, and that's a very good question. It can either be parsed out into name, address, phone fields into separate discrete fields, or with the free form, it does it for you. It will, as long as you have a contact record in the free form, it will pull out the name, address, phone number, email, and address. So it's whatever format that you can get us. Really, we can do a better job with the parsed discrete fields, but that's not to say we cannot cleanse and standardize something that comes in a little bit more mangled.
Okay, very cool. Well, Patrick, thank you very much. It was very informative. I really enjoyed it, and I would like to thank everyone for their time. Within the next 48 hours, the attendees will be receiving an email containing links to the recorded webinar and a link to download the slides. And as next steps, you can go to melissadata.com/audit-extol to sign up for a free data quality audit. I think this is a fantastic idea. You can send up to 10,000 records to Melissa Data, and they'll show you what condition your data is really in. For more information, please go to extol.com/info. You can email info@extol.com or melissadata.com/audit-extol. I'd like to thank everybody for joining, and I wish you a wonderful week. Thanks again, Patrick.
Thank you, guys.